So you're gonna take your drill or screwdriver and unscrew this unscrew this screw right here, which is pretty quick. And you can either keep this or throw it away. What I do is I generally discard it. And so now you can actually bring this down a fair ways to get a decent cut. So where you want to cut it is completely up to you. I generally cut it a little bit, like a few inches past this. It does not matter where you have the cut on it. You can use these scissors that everybody says are so expensive. You can use a knife, you can use normal cutters. However, what you want to remember is that there is printing on this, and it's very faint. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's very faint. I can't even show it on camera, but one side says something like 18 AWG, which is just for the cable, of ground, SPT to, you'll see it. Essentially what I do is I generally cut it at that spot so that I can then go back when I have to solder it together, and I'll have a bunch of extra room. And this is braided wire in it, it's not a solid copper. So now that you have this cut, you can take your cord, put it over here. You're gonna bring this all the way back into this, and then I will go pretty far in here. Essentially, you're gonna pull this whole wire back up and out of this, which does take a little bit of skill, especially when you get to this part where you have to put this up and under. Alright, so once you start getting this guy out, once this is completely out, you're good to drill. This is going to stick out from here on out. You don't put this back in, I mean, because it goes through the same hole right here, and this is going to be where you're drilling through. So what I always do is I take it and I flip it over how I'm going to have it, so you can see roughly what it's going to look like when it's on the wall. It's not bad. So you're going to take this and you're going to drill into it right through that hole. I just use this as a marker. Sometimes it might kind of come over a little bit and go a little bit through the other hole. That's totally fine. It's not a big deal. This does not have to be precise to make it work, because as long as, like I said, it's not bigger than this taper, it can be a little bit bigger than this, and that's fine. This one's a little bit bigger. This is the first one I found, so we're going to take this off. This guy on. I have to stand up.
You use any kind of drill. It doesn't really matter which one. I always drill to the side with the actual, where the nut goes. You want to drill straight.
And if you do it right, it'll go straight through. You'll have two holes just slightly off from each other. Now, at this point, you just take this, flip it around, take the nut, put the nut on first, then take this and put it in, and start screwing it down. Now, if you notice that it starts slipping a little bit or it has some issues staying still, I would recommend taking some like Gorilla Glue or some other type of glue just to make sure it holds down all the way. Like, put it in this crack right here around this joint if you don't plan on moving it. Now, if you want, now is a good time. You can move this down a little bit. You could either drill through here to put a screw, or what I generally do is I just screw through it into my 2x4s downstairs and in the actual wall. However, I just drill down at an angle and you're good. I just use drywall screws myself. This is a budget thing, so obviously you're not trying to make this super amazing or anything like that. So now that we have this set, I just have to reconnect the wires and then test it. So remember to look at the writing on it. And again, this is the easy way to do this. This is not the way I would recommend everybody go about it.
Alright, so I got that. And I like to separate these to make it easier, because who wants to work harder than they have to. Once you have it cut a little bit, you can just kind of peel them apart. You want to do that on the fan side as well. And you gotta pull about 2-3 inches out. Not really big deal how far.
Now again, you want to make sure you got the writing right, so I'm going to double check that I have the right side. There we go. Writing. I generally do the side that's written on first, just because. Now this, you can either use strippers or you can just, you know, go back and forth a little bit until you see some copper coming through. Here we go. Now this has a flux core, so if you're going to use solder, just make sure you have that or you have some flux sitting around. I just prefer it because it makes a more permanent connection. And you don't have to worry about this being your point of failure if you do it right. Turn that off for a little bit. Wait for this to cool down before you put this on. Otherwise it's going to get pretty melted. It does cool pretty quick to the touch, so not something you really have to worry about that. Not something you have to worry about. So what I like to do is take it and just wrap it around like you'd see with like a baseball bat. But take out a decent amount of this. Cut it, leaving yourself a little bit of a flap. The main idea is just to make sure that you get get both of these covered properly, and then what I do after I have them all how I want them, take some more. This is where I would have had the heat shrink on, but if you're not using heat shrink, then just make sure you get this and you wrap it tight, and you don't have to worry about it getting pulled, moved, or anything like that. That's it. Show you how it works. Let's take this plug over here. All I gotta do is plug it in. And there you go. Mount this up there, flat like that, and you've got a fan for your room.